See a box pop up, click the got it button, clears it out of the way, and then we're ready to rock and roll. We always start with seated meditation, a very important practice for many aspects of our being, from deep sort of spiritual connection, if that's a thing for you, but also just all the layers of your biology are positively impacted when you sit in such a way that you're correctly relating pelvis to your seat, central line, or as you may know now, zhong zhong, central upright. So we're practicing this central upright in our seated position where there is very little threat to fall down, right? So that you can then practice the other principle of chun one, which is softening, sinking down into this feeling of stability. Very much like if you remember those sort of blow up things that sometimes they were like a clown, but they had sand at the bottom and you could punch it, it would fall and come back upright. And so that principle is what we want to be cultivating to a certain degree in our body. And usually when we're tense in the body, we're doing the opposite. We've taken the sand and we've brought it up to the top. And that's what makes us feel this sort of whoa, whoa. So a Tai Chi principle is empty in the top, empty up top, full at the bottom. Full at the bottom. Now, how do we fill the bottom? We have to undo, we have to don't, we have to yield, we have to soften, we have to release. That's a very difficult thing. It sounds easy, but it isn't, because we've got a lot going on in our nervous system, just anybody does. But then with Parkinson's, you have even more of that, right? You've got more sort of vulnerability at that nervous system level. So the meditation practice of mind, connect to the breath, just for a few cycles here, just watch how you're breathing. Almost like you have a little mental notepad and you can analyze, my breath is kind of short or it's long, or my inhale's longer than my exhale, or I really don't hold my breath full at all or empty at all. I didn't even know there were those four portions of the breath, right? Being aware, sort of noting what's going on. So you're watching, and then over the course of your breath cycles, longer, smoother, more to their culmination points, holding, exhaling, slow, smooth, release, all the way out. And then inhaling long, smooth, all the way to full. And in a way, you're slowing down time. You're slowing down your nervous system. You're arriving in the present moment. That's the intention of meditation, but it's a practical skill that I have found with Parkinson's especially, or any nervous system issue, is a necessary, very important interface, way to interface with how to move. It's a key component to Tai Chi. So we do this simple practice of mind, breath, body, zhong or central upright, chun one, soften, relax, feel the sand, the sediment settling down. Even though there's this downward trajectory of grounding, that doesn't make you slouch. You don't want to let that slouch you. It actually does the opposite. It creates levity. So the gravitational down has its opposition of levity, or what they call qingling. Qingling, light, nimble, free, movable. So that's where we We first create that separation and distinction, and then we practice our movement. Sliding hands back, elbows back, chest up, chin up, arch. Slide hands forward till the elbows lock, drop the head round. Slide back, hands, elbows back, arch. We're moving in what's called the sagittal plane, the forward, backward plane. Finding all the movements that are available, right? There's just a set number because we were born in a body that has certain limitations and certain opportunities. So we're exploring the front and back plane. And then we come back to neutral. And left hand goes forward, right hand slide back, elbow back, turn. So now we're moving in the rotational plane, transverse plane, rotate. Your main goal here is don't use tensing and gripping the body to move. Use that light, nimble quality. Another way to think of that would be hydraulics, liquid, fluid, oozing. We are quite a bit liquid, right? But yet often we experience ourselves as very material, almost like wood. People are stiff, right? But the truth is we can be liquid, fluid, light, nimble, free. And so that's what we're cultivating. Back to center. Arms hang. Now it's the coronal plane, or otherwise known as the frontal plane. We lean, let that left wrist float up, keep the wrist hand in close, right? Like you're going to tickle your armpit. Bring the fingers up to the armpit and then down. Let that whole arm loose down. This one just floats up. We shift to that other butt cheek, and this foot is free, nimble, light. And then we change again. Now this foot isn't free. This side of the body is grounding. This one, oh, it's free. And notice when I teach this, a lot of times I see people, they stop here, they pull up, they yank up the leg with all this tension instead of finding that freedom, that loose. And this one is really good at helping us feel this other bit that we're cultivating, which is the middle dantian. So belly button height, straight back into the middle. It's like a middle of a seesaw. So the seesaw, the two boards of a seesaw are moving. But if you look at the middle pivot, it's the fact that that middle pivot isn't moving that allows all that free movement while it's organized around the middle. Without the middle, it's a total mess, right? Back to center. Now, shoulders forward. So notice my arms are just hanging out, but because I moved shoulder blades around the side of the body, the arms just kind of migrate a little bit that way. Shoulders up. Notice the arms just came along for the ride, but if you were to come and hit my arm, it would just swing like that because I'm not holding it. Then over the top back, squish the muscles around that middle back, and then slide the shoulder blades down. We're going to do that a few times. Forward, up, back, down. This is where we hold sand, that metaphor I was using earlier. This is one of the number one places where we hold on to this sediment, this starch in the body, right? We carry the world on our shoulders. We do so much with our hands and arms. We're, especially if we're concerned about falling, usually we're bracing ourselves, ready to fall, and our hands are always ready. So we never release this space. Let's reverse that to clean it out the other way. Back, up and over, down. Back, up and over, down. Back. Just cleaning out, allowing for more fluid quality. Fluid quality. Last one. And down. Then arms forward, out. So notice I didn't lift my arms. So invariably, people, when they don't think about it, when they see me go here, they go and they lift. Don't lift. Open. So see how my hands are still, my fingertips are still down by the level of my knees. Come all the way around behind you. And then bring those arms in close and swing them forward, but don't lift them, so that we really get a feeling of opening that space. Now we're going to intensify that, bring the hands in front of the knees and bring the backs of the hands close to each other. This really closes this space, right? So kind of squeeze that space close, feel how it opens your back, and then go out, but stay low. Around, feel how now that space is all open. And then again, close, backs of hands towards each other. As you go out, turning in the arm bones so that the palms face forward by the time you get here. And then spiral the arms again. Now level 2, do lift up about chest height, keeping the backs of the hands very close. And then flat palms go out, feel that opening in all this space here. Then arms are a little bit behind you, sliding down the back. Then rotate, turning the arms, swinging them forward and slightly up and reach out through the fingertips. So really close the front to open the back. And then open, down. Again. Forward, backs of hands close to each other, up, open, feel all that space, open, and down, and then again, now, level 3, backs of hands are close, we come up and we keep rising to whatever degree your shoulders will allow, and down, so we're open, and then we're closing, and then we're open in the front, the back stays open. We do close the front, the back opens even more. Open. So this is all getting the sand down to the bottom, out of the little places it's stuck. Reverse, so back to level 1, back, out. So really don't go up. So notice that in that initial thing that people always go up because we don't think about opening and closing initially. This is opening little chambers within your torso. So Ilana, you notice you lifted your arms up there. So you got to notice out, that's up. You just went up, Ilana. So down with your fingers, but out and then around. And then down and through. Now stay low, but go out. Not up. Out. Now we'll go a little bit up, but we want to make sure we still have the feeling of out, opening, close, backs of hands towards each other. Keep the arms internally rotated as they fall down alongside the legs, back. Now rotate so your palms face forward, come up halfway, across, backs of hands. So we're also learning nuanced movement, meaning awareness of relative up and down. So we're lifting, but we're staying around this middle basin, this middle chamber. Now we'll go for level 3, where we allow up, over, backs of hands towards each other, and then down, right alongside. Back and up, over, down, back and up. Again, addition by subtraction. We're not adding, we're subtracting, we're cleaning, we're polishing. Last one, so that the end result of everything we do in our Qigong and Tai Chi is less, release, loose, free, right? Now, bend those elbows, bring the hands up right in front. Turn palms down, up. So this is just to find forearm bones pronate, supinate, right? Then pause here. We take this position. Now, also invariably, when I first show this, people do weird things. They lift and they do something with the wrist. They force all this stuff. But the simplest bit is from this gate here, just open. Now bring the hands back. Elbows go out from that same little pivot, create this shape. So I just turn sideways. You see it's created a folding and a closing, and it's just from rotation here. And then we bring elbows in and hands go out. That changed everything through your torso. Lifted, slightly back bended, and then elbows out, hands in. That's rounded and hollowed. So we're inducing movement that we need to retain, that as people age, regardless of any sort of illness they're working with, this just happens to everybody. We just lose the mobility of these interior spaces. So we want to induce those. Now from here, step your feet wider. So this does a couple different things. Here we got what's called the quad, the groin on either side, the sort of hip groin area. So now take your left hand up and reach all the way across. Now, as you get over here, feel how the left quad has an opportunity to open, or the leg will be pulled in. So try to keep that feeling of open left quad. Then up over the top, and we're back to this neutral position. Right hand up and over, reach all the way across, hold there and feel that, that would be your right quad, opportunity to open. And then we're back to middle. Cross, keep that left quad opening, and middle. Over. Make sure when you do this one, your stable hand doesn't come back to your moving hand. Keep it where it is, so you got to go get it. All the way back. All the way over. Go get it. And back. And so again, we're just opening up these usual suspects for where we grab on, where we get stuck, where the sand or sediment gets stuck. Now back to middle. Both hands come up towards each other and cross, one wrist above the other. Now I turn sideways. Notice I'm not in here. I'm out. Legs are still wide. Turn your palms down and drop them between your legs. Then cross, lift, open to here. Up and over, cross other wrist, fold, drop down. Notice that folded, closed, rounded, internally rotated shape, and then cross, raise, and you're in the opposite position. Up and over, down, cross and up, down. Getting the sediment out, and also cultivating the pivots, the rolling spirals, the internal external rotation, the spinal gentle flexion extension. And here, legs back close, bring arms in somewhat close, fold wrists under, point forward. Now turn palms up. You want to lead through pinky side like so, right? So there's this fold, fold, and then out, spin, fold, out, fold. Notice the bones here. This is where a lot of arthritic issues and carpal tunnel issues sort of bottle up because of stiff hands, right? This area gets stiff. So we're sort of hydrating by folding, unfolding, folding, unfolding. Now reverse, come under, over the top and out. Spin the hand, lead from this inside, or the ridge hand as it's called. Over, under, over, under, over. Last one. And out. Shake, Scoot a little bit back in your chair. Load, push, reload, down. Load, push, reload, down. Continue, switching each time. Just getting all that pumping, flushing, moving. Now, right leg extend, point foot, flex foot. So we want the foot free. Just how I shook my hand like that earlier, that's how I eventually want my foot to feel. So loose. Then invert, evert, invert, evert. They say the hardest gate to open is the lower leg, the foot and ankle. Go ahead and circle. It's because it's our weight-bearing joint. It's our last sort of gate before we really release ourselves down into our groundedness. But usually we're holding on there. We're concerned, we got stiffness there. So we want to loosen that. Go the other way, circle. And down. Other leg, point and flex. Invert, evert, that little tilt. Circle. Other direction, circle. And foot down. Scoot once again to the front edge of your chair. So again, we're forward, hands on your legs there. Hinge at the hips, bowing. As you bow, spin on the palms so your elbows flare out and around and open the back. And then sit upright, arms go to neutral. From the hips, lean back. And then sit up and then bow. Sit up and lean, and then sit up, bow. And stay. Now, standing up and sitting out. So we slide our feet back a little bit. So this is an acute angle. Then we loosen the arms, let those arms hang. Feel for a second how your feet are empty, more or less, and your weight is going through the chair to the floor. Now, pour yourself out of the chair, through your legs, to the earth, through your ankles. Remember what I mentioned about the ankles and lower leg, how usually that's where we stiffen up and we don't allow ourselves this feeling of really feeling that sand get to the bottom. So see if you can open ankles, open feet, just by relaxing them. Now sit down and keep your body weight down through your feet. Your butt goes back. You don't fall into your chair. You just fold this loose, limber body. And then you sit back. And now the chair is where we're getting to the earth. And again, we pour through the legs to the earth, open ankles and feet. Then you just push down. And sit. Vertical. And again, just pour. Now, don't actually sit in the chair, but as if sit. And dangle fingertips, maybe touch your shoes, maybe actually get to the floor, and then come all the way up. And then your butt goes back and sit nice and low. And all the way up. And sitting. And one more time, just loose. And I'm just hoping those of you that have been doing this for a while, you're starting to see this looseness. You're starting to feel like, oh yeah, I can actually be loose enough to just fold and unfold, and I still feel grounded, right, in the earth. Now, standing, we do a couple Qigongs and then we go to Tai Chi. So this Qigong known as left, right, yin yang. So here I am standing in the middle, kind of using both legs to keep me up. Now, let only one leg be your support leg, right? And notice when you did that, did you push out your hip like this? Don't do that. You want to let it go through. Did you lock your knee back? Don't do that. Let it be just softly bent. And also in the ankle and foot, are you grabbing or are you able to open and just let it go through? And then change to the other leg. Again, don't lock in the hip, don't lock the knee, and try not to grip ankle and foot. So let it go through. Now add, as you go back to your right leg, left wrist floats up and lean. Remember how we leaned in our chair? Let's do that a little less sort of overtly, right? But we're creating that same quality, and possibly you'll feel your opposite leg disconnect from the floor, but not because you pull it up with a yanking. Instead, it's just no longer under use, and so it empties. And that's a huge achievement. It seems very small, but when you get the foot to disconnect, not by pulling it, but by chunwan, by down through the other leg so well, so rooted, so connected to the earth, that this foot is like, hey, I'm free. And then you change and you get to the other side and it's free. Now with the same feeling, high hand forward, right? Out over the top of a circle, low hand back and up like you're going to tickle your armpit. So we circle, it's called left, right, wheel. So we're doing the same change of weight work in the legs, but we're adding this awareness of up and down and now forward and back. Forward and back, up and down. Left and right, wheel. Wheel. I'm still changing leg to leg. One is free each time if you can do it. One is free. Kind of like you're just walking in place. You're cultivating that middle seesaw pivot. Now reverse the arms, go back, and this is like you're threading a needle. So this is a specific way back. I'm not throwing my arm back through here. This one swings way out, comes up and retracts and goes through that space. This one swings, swing, swing. So again, whichever arm is on its way down, that's the leg you're going through. Down. This has become, this little set and little variations on it is one of the most important Qigongs to me. When I first started doing it, I was like, what is this? It seems so innocuous, but it's really so many opportunities to just loosen up these internal mechanisms and free up this starch and glue in the body. And both hands down. Shogun, hands come up, over, settle, and middle embrace. Middle embrace, look at my hands, they're specific, right? They're not here, like that. So look at your hands, make sure it's happening, and also don't be touching your hands. They're just slightly separated, but they're relating. Shoulders are relaxed, elbows soft and loose. Cross your hands, and down they go. Now, bring your hands up in front, touch all 5 fingers together. This is called open and close the 3 basin. So notice, a lot of times when I teach this, there's the square, people are stuck here, and then they bend their elbows to touch the hands, as opposed to straighten the arms and close this space, close it, and feel how that opens this space. So close, then open, out, not back, out. If I turn sideways, my hands do not break that plane. They stay in front, but they also get all the way to the end. and then they come back, they stay long, palms touch, fingertips touch. As you open, change the weight into your right leg. Same way, down through the right leg, left foot is empty. Then as you close, go into your left leg. Open, get all the way to the ends, close, continue. So you're going to your right as you open, I'm going to my right as I open. So it'll look opposite here. Don't be confused by that. Go to your right. Tony, go to your right. Your right. You're in your left, Tony. Go to your right leg, Tony. So Tony, can you hear me? So go to your right when you open. Take your arms out. Stay in your right side there. There you go. Now go to your left as you close. There you go. That's correct. Open, go to your right. That's correct. Very good. And then close. Now bring the hands down below the sternum. Open, go to your right as you open. Close. Open. Ilana, you're getting the direction wrong here. Go to your right as you open. As you open. See, you're in your left leg now. Go to your right leg, Ilana. There you go. Now, go to your left. There you go. So it's a little mind game to try to not get thrown off by what my body is doing. So Tony, you've lost it again. You've lost it again. Stay to your right, Tony, when you open. And back. Open to your right. Close to your left. Hands drop below, right in front of the groin. Open, go to your right. Go to your left. Open. Close. Open, all the spaces open. All those spaces come to rest and close. Open. Close. Open, way out. Ilana, you lost it again. Go to your right as you open. Your right. No, that's your left. That's your left. Go to your right. Go into your right leg. Your right leg, yeah, go into it. Go into your right leg. Put your weight into your, yes. And then close. And then open. That's correct. Close. Last one. Not to be a stickler, but it's just part of the brain game, right? And it's also, there's other reasons why. Shogong. So those are the only 2 Qigong sets we'll do today. We're going to go right into our Tai Chi basics now. So hands come down. You stay facing forward. I'm turning sideways so you can see some of the angles. Now, forward and up. Wrists. Relax. Now, on our way down, we don't just retrace our steps, right? We change the joint relationships. Then we sweep down. And then before we come back up, again, we don't just come up in this shape, right? So down here, there's this moment of change the joint relationships and rise like you're painting with the back of the hand. And then change the joint relationships and down. And then up and down. Forward and up. And down. Now hands scoop right in front, low cradle, open, same thing, change the joint relationships and then sweep down. Change the joint relationships and then open and open and open. From here, turn your arms, palms up. Notice how then you can just bend the elbows, hands come over top, there's a space right in front of you that they can fall through. Wings, roll, palms up, fold, down. Wings. Now, right hand roll, fold. As it comes over top, left hand sweeps under. Now we're at the bottom and top of a large ball. We bring the hands towards each other and then separate them from each other and then go around that big ball to the wing position. And then right hand coming under, left hand up and over, big ball, middle, big ball, round, middle, round. Now we're going to do one additional thing. This is new for everybody here. So make sure I can be seen. So here we are, left hand high, your left. Now I'm your mirror. So left hand, your left hand high, your right hand low. Now as you come down, the left hand goes on the inside. And then we go around. Back out to the wings. So now we're circling in one direction. This top hand comes on the inside. Around. On the inside. Now, top hand on the outside, bottom hand coming up that inside space. And around, get to the wings every time. That's training us to stay long. And then top hand on the outside, bottom hand on the inside. One more. And pause. Now we go right hand over top, left hand under. We'll go top hand on the inside, but they have to stay somewhat sort of dynamically separated and shoo, around you go. Right hand up high, left hand low. Right hand on the inside. Pass it through and around and around. Over the top, top hand on the inside. And around. And top hand on the outside. And around. Outside. And around. Outside. And around. And down. All the way. Good. Now, hands up, turn over top, soften all the way through. So pung, rising energy, the body straightens up and we kind of lift off the ground or lift away from the ground, but don't lose that feeling of groundedness. Turn the palms over. Now this is on or settling. Settle that sediment down through all the way, any remaining sediment down. And so the knees are a little bit bent. There's a little bit of a crouch, but no major squat. Scoop, rising. Feel that levity, that floating. And then that sinking down. And then rising. Sink. Rising. Sink. One more time, rising. Turn your palms forward and have the elbows back enough that you feel this space open. Push. Now when you push, Mingmen stays back. You stay right where you are. You actually root down somewhat to get the power of that push. And then wrap the hands around the outside, draw back. So when we push forward, most important part of that is not going forward, is the part of you that doesn't go with your hands. So it's this ability to sink and stay rooted right where you are and still exert this forward direction called G. The chi likes to do it, right? These are expressions of the chi of the body, the energy of the body. G. And back. G. Back. Good. Now, left hand G, right hand drawing back, known as Lu. Then switch, and it's one Lu or draw back, one G, push forward. Then the hands change again, other hand changes, Lu and G. And they go together somewhat, Lu and G, right? They're two halves of the same coin. And where they're related is our middle. So again, with what's happening in the outer body, what we're really doing, the most important thing we're doing is cultivating our middle pivot. We're feeling whether I'm drawing, pushing, doing one of each, the middle pivot of the seesaw is what has to be constant for it to be appropriate, for it to be effective movement. And that goes for all of our movements. Both hands back, both hands down. Now, from the middle, again, navel, Ming Men or lumbar, and then the space right between them. That's this middle place. Change the weight to your right leg, turn to your right, and let those hands just sweep across, the bear washing paws. Now, turn the hands, boom. Now, shift, turn, then the hands. That's the natural flow of the body when we're out of our own way. Turn the hands, right? It wouldn't make sense to go hands, turn, shift, right? So it's flow. And at first you maybe have to force yourself to do it in that sequence of leg, middle, hand. Leg, middle, hands. But luckily, because it is eventually our natural way, it's addition by subtraction. We're round by round, letting go of whatever we're doing that's in the way, that's extraneous. And we're just going, oh yeah, just so natural, so easy. Now let that movement grow. So it's 1, 2, sort of bigger bear paw swings. And 1, 2, and let that second hand sort of start to float. Remember what I said about out, not up? So now it's starting from an out position, and it will naturally go around the outside of a big circle like you're swirling the stream. Bring the hand in now, so it's right in front of the hip, and the other hand is out, not up, and it goes around the circle and then comes in. And then we're going around, but we're staying down. All this practice of the bear, right? The power of the bear is in its potency, its steadiness, its sort of downness, right? Now the buoyancy, we allow that arm just to float up a little bit and float across, but we don't lose even an ounce of our downness. We don't lose any of this quality of being right where we are, turning from that middle pivot. Long limb without losing your middle. Big reach, but don't come out of the ground. So those sort of complementary qualities that are opposite to each other show up everywhere. Yin and yang. This is the Taoist discovery that, let's go for the higher fish now, is that it's in the balance of opposing polarities that we cultivate our center, our Tai Chi. So it's not only up and long and out and extended, but it's also centered and consolidated, grounded, rooted at the same time. Now, stay in your right leg. Your left hand should be across. It drops down into the water. Right arm, wing, roll, fold, right? We did that earlier. But now, since we're not just standing here doing it, We're here, it's a loaded weapon, you might say. Now change to the left, turn from that same middle, and let those hands travel through. So now we're doing a push and a brush. Now they get all the way to their end point, yet I'm still centered. So they orbit back to this. And then we shift and turn and allow the freedom, allow it to get all the way to the ends. And because we keep our center, we don't go flying off our route, it comes back. Cross. Right? So we're load, 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 prep, 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 and Karen, make sure you let your bottom hand, you're kind of letting it get stuck. It's got to go. The bottom hand has to brush knee so that it can travel around. And now this is that bottom hand. So sometimes we get stuck in the push, but we forget the, right? Brush around. Through. Last one, going to your right. Now let's all stay in the right leg for just a moment. Left foot, just turn so the toes point out a little bit. So the leg is turned out just a bit. Change your weight down through that left leg. Left hand, descend it down, fingertips touch the surface of the water very lightly. Bend right elbow. Now, toe, empty, golden rooster. Practice Ching Ling, loose, this loose quality from this gate here, floating arms. Now, you're sinking to the degree that you can sink through this leg, that's the degree of freedom you have for this. So this is where if you had your little chair or countertop, you could put your hand on it and work on lift, lower. So do that a couple of times. The other important thing is when I go to lift this leg, I don't lean back to pull it up. I do the opposite. I actually sit into that hip and down. So there's this quality of sink into that hip and down. Switch legs. So put that right foot, turn toes out, change the weight to it. Feel that be your support leg now. Right hand down, bend left elbow, touch the toe of that left foot. Out there. Now, same thing here. Loose, free. Right? So you're not holding your sand up here. You're letting the sand go through, perhaps even to the point where you get that freedom. And the teacup on the head should not quiver at all. Now, of course, it will, because we're working on this, but over time, the goal is no disturbance whatsoever. But it's how chunwon, how down and through you can be, that one leg that determines the freedom. Now we'll switch each time. So put your empty foot down, no body weight. Chunwon, down through that left leg. As you do, all those other parts change. Put the right foot down, no change in the hands. Hands stay just as they are. Then, as you change the weight down through the right leg, everything together. Down. Now, everything together. The weight change, the hands, and that empty leg. So now we're trying to track 3 moving parts. Put that right foot down, nothing else changes. Now we track all 3. We track the weight change and all 3 limbs. And eventually you want them to arrive simultaneously. Foot comes down, nothing changes. Now simultaneity, shift and change. The center pivot is still key here. Your center pivot is where everything is organized, everything communicates. And it's a great, great practice for Zhongjang, Chunwen, Qingling. Down. Zhongjang intact, Chunwen down through the other leg. Qingling, free, light, nimble. Zhongjang intact, Qing. Great job, everybody. Now, feet parallel, about hip distance. Wash your paws to the right. Back to that very first exercise, just to kind of get any tension out, right? When we're doing balance work, we often grip up, and then that gets stuck in the system. So, whew, just wash it out again. Now, play with clouds. Go to your right, left hand sweeps the leg, rises up. Then as you shift, the cloud is up top. The bottom hand does that familiar sweep the leg. Cloud raining, leg vapor, change. So we change leg, turn, sweep across. Then they change places again. So we all know the cliche, the only constant is change. We've heard that cliche. But what's really important is that we are practicing both the changing of full empty, the changing of up and down, the changing of left and right, the changing of turning from one side to the other side and back to the other side, the changing of sort of the polarities of groundedness versus levity and nimbleness. But pay attention to the constant, the steady point, the underlying, unchanging stillness. So the freedom and the stability. So it's not just waving our body around and doing all this stuff. It is that, but more importantly, it's that unseen layer of what we're doing here. Now, let's do another standing balancing one. So hands come down, wash your paws. Now, from here, your legs are more or less neutral. Change the weight to your right leg. Left foot is empty. Heel stays on the ground. Turn, pigeon toe. So you turn this leg in, internally rotate, shift onto that left leg, and then lift the toes of your right foot and just be on the heel. So it should be 100% and 0, more or less. Now, reach your right arm forward at chest height. Left arm swings up and hold that position for a moment. It's called play guitar. So you see my arms here, the way they're relating. It isn't here, and it's not way back here, right? And it's not here. It's this, right? Two sort of separate, but yet you can feel there's a relationship. There's a sort of continuity to this shape that just looks good, looks right. Also, I'm not compressing it like this. There's a buoyancy, there's a space in there, it's floating, right? Play guitar. Now, turn your palms down, it's called pet the tiger. Sweep the hands down, your legs stay just as they are, let the arms swing back behind you. And then bring them back up to play guitar. And let them sort of arrive and settle. Pet the tiger. Loose, free. Swing up. Now, as you pet the tiger, you turn on the heel of your right foot, 2 pigeon toes, right? Now, change the weight to your right leg and turn open to the left side of your space now and float those arms up. Play guitar. Just hold that for a second, get comfortable there, buoyant, loose. So Tony, you went the long way round. Just notice that, right? Notice when I do this, I'm facing the camera. You should be facing the camera, right? And then you just turn and face that way. right? So let's all come back to here. We've got left foot, your left foot, it's my right, your left. Now let's do a few pet the tiger. The hands come down and they should be on your right side of your body, and then swing up and pet the tiger down, back, and swing up, down, and swing up. Now from here, as you pet the tiger, again, when you turn two pigeon toes, you should be facing forward, Tony. So turn your left toes in, facing forward, and then just simple change your weight to your left leg, and then rotate, and you should be able to then face the right side, like that. So let's just do that change a few times. Pet the tiger, turn your right toes in. So you see I'm closing this space, my toes are pointing in, and then just change the weight, and the body is able to face the left. Down come the hands, pigeon toe, change the weight. That's right, Tony, great job. That's exactly it now. Down. Janona, make sure your bottom hand gets to the height of, yes, so it's not down here. It's at the same height. Pet the tiger, down you swing, loose. Change the weight, and up you come. Do it a few more times. So what we're practicing here, among other things, is this pretty big 180-degree change of orientation, whether it's in a sport scenario, whether it's in a martial art scenario, whether it's just, hey, I gotta go do something over there now. The ability to, with just very little effort, just, and now you're over here relating to whatever's coming this way. And from the martial art idea, we're here and we've got 3 ready, empty, usable limbs and a very good grounded, steady position. And then we're just changing. And now we've changed, and the other is empty, and the arms are, of course, still empty and loose. Loose. And this effortlessness, it's this like empowering insight, epiphany that, you just don't have to do as much as you thought you did to get the same amount of work done. To just go, I got to go over here now. I got to change. So Tai Chi, just that finding of the middle pivot is so enlivening, empowering. Let's come back to center. Loose. Then rock a little to your heels. Open. Rock to your toes. Out with the fingers way out. Rock to your heels. Back in the upper gate. Down through that swallow channel to the middle. And then the tail goes a little back. Sink. Down and through. And up. Twice more. Rock back. Rock forward. Back and in the upper. Feel that down the middle to the middle. And then opening the back while you release everything to the earth again. Just every bit of that sand out of your body. That's what this very powerful Qigong, powerful in the sense of effective at empowering us, at going, I don't have to do as much. I can get the same stuff done with very little rigidity and effort, eventually none. And then finally, Shogun, wing, roll, up over top, settling. Everything consolidating to our middle reservoir. And then the briefest of our self-massages, there's very drawn out self-massage, and then there's just very sort of put the little sprinkle on top. So hands, rub, back of one, other palms, and then other. Hua. This is a usual suspect of grip and congestion. Open, loose, free. Hip flexors, another place we get tense, especially if we sit a lot. Come around, Sacrum and tail up onto that Mingmen lumbar, and then we clear the channels down the outside by sitting into a bit of a squat, around to the inside, up the inseam past the groin to your navel. Quad, hip flexors, sacrum tail, lumbar, and then down and sweep. This can be done sitting as well, if any of you are in need of that, right? One more, quad. So this is like pressing the reset button on our chi flow. After we've done all this stuff to kind of stir it up and work it, and then we reset the arms as well. Yang channels, turn, yin, yang, yin, yang, yin. Switch, yang. Shogun one final time. Settle. The mind, like a stone falling through a pond, finding the pond dead. That's our middle dantian. We don't push it there. We don't squeeze it there. It rests, just like that stone just comes to rest. The stone is very happy to be there. And we seal the practice. 1, 2. And Taoist bow. Thank you so much, everybody. If there are questions, comments, epiphanies, realizations, they're always welcome.